What's up, duelists? It's your boy here, BC Bandit Crowley, here for our next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tutor podcast. I'm here with
JD.
That's right, and today, duelists, we're going to be talking about combos and the two structure decks that dropped a few days ago.
And we might end up covering a little bit more than that, but it depends on how much time we got. But we'll point it out when we get there.
Also, duelists, we're going to be trying to do the episodes just a little bit smaller because we're gonna make them to a format that can fit YouTube easily. That way they're faster to upload, faster to edit, and you might be getting them more often.
And better to watch.
Yeah, also, because you can't sit through like a 40-minute video
If not for that,
for a long time.
Not for that 30 seconds of audio that you really needed to hear again.
Yeah. Now, I'm really hoping that you guys enjoyed some of those jokes that I put up on the first episode in the images we were talking. Hopefully you've been listening. And the second one will be exactly the same, third one too. I haven't edited those yet because we got till Saturday. Right now we're recording on the 19th.
So, the reason we're having our combos conversation today is because the recent structure decks that got released have allowed for comboing in Yu-Gi-Oh! To become kind of retarded.
Yeah.
For it to be like, it's +1 city, and there's so many different things you can do.
Yeah. It's +1 city and you're living downtown, baby.
You're doing something. You're doing something to get what you want here. And so, first things first, I guess I'll do the dinosaur thing first.
Well, first off, let's go ahead and have that conversation specifically about comboing and how to do it that you wanted to have. So go ahead and take it off.
Okay. So the entire concept of comboing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about +1. So that you can, like in the case of, like Marauding Captain back in the day, you got a normal summon, you got a free special summon that's +1 on the field. That was an old school combo. And then if you played the Reinforcements of the Army way back in the day, you got another Marauding Captain, you summon Marauding Captain, that's a lock. It's a combo lock that lets you go +1. You got an extra monster on the field and they can't attack you.
Yeah. Back in the day when we couldn't do stuff like, I'm going to eat you with 101.
Back before combos got so ridiculous that the thought of getting dry-dented would pass your mind with the Marauding Captain block.
Yeah. That didn't exist, Dark Arm Dragon.
Right. Dark Arm Dragon wasn't a thing. Judgment Dragon wasn't a thing back then. I mean, back then you could go Marauding Captain Command Knight, and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But that's just an old school combo.
Yeah.
After that, they kind of combos had evolved to +1 on field in Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's what it used to be. Now the way that it is you gotta go +1
Everywhere.
in general. Your field has to go plus at the same time as your hand.
And your graveyard.
Depends on the deck that you run.
Well, that's archetype.
Yeah.
But after that point, the game became about special summoning and not necessarily giving you resources back, just letting you see how far you could go. That was until Light of Destruction, when the frogs hit.
Yeah.
When the frogs were released in Light of Destruction, you got...
I think the first deck that would actually show you in the style of nowadays how to plus was Old Zombies with Card of Safe Return.
Right.
Which got instantly banned because of that.
Card of Safe Return was pinched on both sides. One side by Zombies, other side by Lightsworn. And it actually got caught in the middle with Zombie Sworns when it started getting really stupid.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of a combo where Lightsworns with Lumina in a zombie deck, like you have Zombie World up, and that makes everything a zombie, but your Lightsworns are still Lightsworns because that's their name.
Yeah.
So you go Zombie Master, discard Mizuki, get back Lumina. Card of Safe Return lets you draw. Mizuki lets you banish to special summon. Card of Safe Return lets you draw.
Yeah.
Lumina goes
For those of you that don't know what Card of Safe Return does, it should be on the screen right now. And it's never coming back. I know you love it the moment you saw it. The only reason it would come back is if it gets horribly errata to once per turn.
And we'll leave a link in the description down below.
For what?
Sorry, I'm just trying to get this guy extra work. So,
I'm not leaving links for shit. I'm just showing the picture and they can see it.
Fuck them.
See, the problem here is that JD has yet to see our first episode, so he doesn't know what I put for visuals.
I don't know Dick. I'm a bad fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Could have been giving us that view, that like, that share, but nah, fuck that.
I know us so well that I can't be your fan. So, The most recent combo deck that came out in Yu-Gi-Oh that made the game stupid was Zodiacs.
Yeah, where it's a one card and you go plus, I don't know, maybe eight,
Five.
something like that, including your hand.
Oh yeah. So that's kind of what we're talking about, where you only needed one card and you just went plus more than one. Um, Tanky is kind of a good example of one for one pluses, where you activated a card in your hand to get a card in your hand.
Well, actually, that's just a straight up +1 because you didn't lose Tenki.
Fine. Reinforcements of the army is a better example then, where
Yeah,
you
you go
randomly
-1 on your deck, which is plus. It goes even in your hand, but you collected the resource that you needed.
and you went minus on field. Where Tanky's actually the plus one, where it's giving you the card that you got out of your hand. You had to choose what you got, and whatever you added with Tanky gets plus 100 off of Tanky. So it's +2 there. Like that was for a little while a thing we were doing with like Fire Kings and the
Bujins.
Mermails for a little while.
Bujin.
Yeah, Bujins, and also Yosenjus. Those are +1 combos, and then after that, oh man, where did we go from there?
We don't need to give them the history.
That's
We
true,
already
that's
gave
true.
them the example.
That's true. That's true. I was like, Shadal's came after that.
Yeah, we don't need to give them the history of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Um,
Granted, a lot of people do need it, like that guy we're talking about,
but
Mario.
now with combos, you got to figure out what's your end goal of your combo. Like, what is your? I've got the dinosaur True King thing that I'm playing, and the typical end goal of my combo is to get Ultimate Conductor on the field and at least one targetable level 4 lower dinosaur in my graveyard for my Soul Eating Overraptor, and that's
And one on field for Ultimate Tyranno to use as effect.
or in hand.
Or in hand. Right.
And it's not a dinosaur; it's just any monster.
Okay.
So like,
Does it destroy them or put them face
it
down?
destroys a monster in your hand or field to Book of Eclipse your opponent. Put all their monsters face down.
So essentially, what you really want on the field is either a Baby Saurus, Baby Pterodon, or True King.
Petite Pterodon.
Petite Pterodon. Or a True King.
Yeah. Baby Ceratosaurus and...
Oh wait, it has to be level 4 or lower, right?
For what?
For the ultimate.
What do you mean?
What did you say about level 4 or lower?
What?
Who needs a level 4 or lower?
Soul Eating Overraptor.
Okay. Ultimate Conductor does not need a level limit. It's just any monster.
Right.
Once your exceeds shit on the field, you can tribute it.
Yeah, blow that bitch off the board.
Yeah.
If you don't need the space anymore, don't let anything waste your spaces. It doesn't specify, well, it's monster on field or hand. It doesn't specify the extra zone. So I guess it might end up getting an errata in the future for link summoning.
Maybe, yeah.
But if you have a link on the board that's no longer doing work, why not?
Yeah, if that's the way that it ends up going.
I mean, because there are a lot of cool ways. Like the way I've built this deck really is to be able to go into link format with main deck options and stuff.
But it is not a deck that needs link format at all.
Right.
In fact, you don't really need your extra deck.
No, you don't. Like the only reason I use my extra deck is to get myself into the idea of link format coming, where like using the extra deck extends my combo just a little bit, just a tiny.
Or you might go like Dolka just to prevent things.
Yeah, Logia Dolka is like your best friend. You only really need one. You get it on the board, you use its effect, and then you blow that bitch with Ultimate Conductor.
Yeah. So you're running a one extra deck at a time format, which is good.
When link format actually hits, I might end up running the Unexpected Die. But that's a conversation for later, and that's not just combos. That now becomes options, which are just as important in combos. When you to figure out the end result of the combo that you want it to be, you have to then remove yourself from the box of the conceptual box that you have of where you want to go, and then figure out how you want to get there.
Yeah. So what's a small, great combo that you can use in the dinos as you have them built? Like a 2 or 3 card combo that just sets you up for the rest of the turn.
Lost World and Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pterodon. Because I can Lost World, give my opponent a token, and then attack the token. Use Lost World to protect the token. Destroy another copy of either Petite Pterodon or Baby Ceratosaurus in my deck. And then, since it was destroyed, it gets a special summon a dino from the deck. And that's usually Soul Eating Overraptor, and then that gives me something, and then main phase 2 I can destroy the baby Sarah or petite pterodon. Like it just like that's not a bad 2-card combo.
That's good.
And that's a 2-card combo that goes plus fucking 4 like real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, 2-card combos would be like.
I'm not saying specifically 2-card combos, like a 2 or 3-card combo, easy to end up with in your hand, that will allow you to go off further. I'm not saying go off in the full conversation.
Opening with Lithocygen and Fossil Digs, like those are pretty big because it allows me to search my.
So Lithocygen, Fossil Digs, or any Earth monsters.
Or any if you don't have baby Ceratosaurus or petite pterodon, those are your best friends. Like they do all the work for you because they're not once per turn. They allow you to special summon level 4, or petite pterodon special summons level 4 or higher dinosaurs. Baby Ceratosaurus summons level 4 or lower. Petite pterodon they can't attack the turn that they're summoned. Baby Ceratosaurus they can.
Okay.
So, depending on what you need to do in that turn, like if you're going second and your opponent sets up a big board, like you have to find a way to conserve your normal summon for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because
in case they have an answer for it.
Right, because special summons are cool and great, but they're also additives in a combo where you're trying to go +1 or 2 or 3. Let's say this is 5 cards that I drew. I got 2 Fossil Digs, Twin Twister, True King, Lithocygen the Destroyer, and Tyranno Infinity.
All right. Don't go into the combo in detail. Just explain. You know, I'm just asking for examples.
Right.
If we go into your freaking combo, it's going to be 25 minutes of just you talking about a combo.
And that's kind of what I mean. That's what the idea of +1 is. It extends what would normally have been like an open and shut book with this play, where I would have had a Fossil Dig for something I can normal summon and then pray.
Yeah.
Now I've got Fossil Dig for 2 things that allow me 2 more special summons that allow me to search, to add, to do.
Yeah.
And that in old Yu-Gi-Oh is blasphemy. Like that is the kind
it's
of
undoable. It's worse than Exodia for some players.
Yeah, because it's the equivalent of making Exodia a completely searchable thing.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been done. They haven't given Exodia a complete search. They've given you things that can.
The draw power.
Yeah, you can.
Sangan's back, I guess.
Yeah, but that's only once per turn, and then you can't use the effect. Like if you add Exodia, the forbidden one from your deck to your hand with Sangan, you can't use the effect to win the duel.
But it's not an effect; it's a condition. That's what you keep on not understanding. I think it's like the second or third video that you mentioned that.
It's early, okay? It's.
You've been up for a while. We're recording right now. It's 9. He woke up at 6. Right? Right, duelists? It's not early.
Thanks, Carl. So, damn it, Carl.
I'm gonna put a little meme face with the heavy eyebrows. Like, really, nigga?
Shots fired. Okay, so then my side of this is pretty like my Cretaceous period stuff's pretty simple. Dogoran's kind of cool. I do like the ability to special summon the kaiju from the deck because it protects me from my opponents attempted to return the combo. This is where
That's a neat little tech that you put into the deck where you run kaiju. What's his name?
Dogoran.
Dogoran.
The Mad Flame Kaiju.
Yeah. So he's a dinosaur, which means you can special summon him with Petite Pterodon.
Petite Pterodon.
All right. And he prevents you from getting kaiju'd, which is something you keep screaming about.
Because it sucks to get kaiju'd. Could you imagine I have an ultimate conductor on the board, ready to defend me, and he just gets kaiju'd off the fucking board? I'd be so upset. I just lost my protection. They probably gave me a Gamma Seal at like 22 versus 35 as a light monster that I could potentially honest. I mean, I just got a water monster that doesn't put anything face down. It has 3,000 defense, and that's fucking good enough, I guess.
But they summoned it in attack.
Yeah, they summoned it in attack, and now I have like, or if I have a Logia Dolka set up to try and like defend myself from my opponent's effects, and that gets kaiju'd.
Yeah.
I no longer have the ability to negate your summons or monster effects or spells and traps, and like, fuck that. Mad Flame Kaiju all day.
Yeah. One of the things I've never liked is like the 1-for-1 with the kaijus.
Yeah.
Whereas you go -1 in your hand to give your opponent still a monster, just not the one he wanted.
Right.
I prefer things like Lava Golem. Where like, yeah, he has to have 2 monsters.
But
let's face
-2.
it, duelist, he's gonna.
But
and he goes -1 along with me.
Yeah, well, he went -2 versus your 1.
No, he still keeps a monster at 3,000. That's amazing. 3,000. I went -1 in my hand. He went -1 on the field, and I got rid of what was threatening.
What the thing that's kind of cool about the lava golem versus the kaijus here is, yeah, they have to have another monster you tribute to hit him with it, but you can Swords of Revealing Light a lava golem and it get more work done.
And for those of you who don't know what Swords of Revealing Light is,
they know
it's right there on the screen.
No, we're just gonna assume they know what Swords of Revealing Light is here.
I'm not gonna assume shit. Look at Mario, man.
This is the classics, man. These are the classics. So if you Swords of Revealing Light a lava golem, you could potentially burn your opponent for 3,000.
Technically.
Versus a kaiju that sits on your opponent's board with a 3,000 defense as.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the very least, Lava Golem tried to be on your side.
Yeah, Lava Golem can beat up a kaiju.
Yeah. At 3,000, you can beat up most kaijus, right?
Most kaijus. There's only one that's bigger, maybe two that's bigger. Depends on what you choose.
There's that machine one at like 33 or something like that.
30 fucking 3.
Even against that dinosaur, he crashes into him and they both die.
Yeah, well, no. With Lost World, all non-dinosaur monsters lose 500 attack and defense. So that one's.
You're assuming Lost World's on the field.
I always assume Lost World's on the field, and the reason I make that assumption is because I'm not always playing harpies.
See, there you go again with the harpies, man. Just stop being. You have PTSD for one fucking deck that's not in the meta right now.
That's not in the meta right now, but they were meta before, and they were really good before. There's no denying that.
Yeah, but they lost a lot of their support. Right now they have one trap card that's gonna defend them.
They did not lose a lot of support. They didn't lose any support.
They lost the Divine Wind.
That's it.
And Feather Duster.
Yeah, they lost that before they were meta.
Yeah,
they were meta with no Feather. Remember that shit. And now if you get Feather Duster back, you can fucking search it.
Which apparently we're gonna get every banned card back but eroded when Link Summoning drops.
I hope Feather Duster only destroys face down spell trap cards.
That'd be fine by me.
No, I get to keep my Lost World. Fuck you, I told you.
Well, see, then I pair it off with Spell Shattering Arrow, destroy all the face-ups.
I don't even think you don't even need.
Yeah, I don't really need it with Hunting Ground. I'm just talking shit now.
That's what I mean. Like Hunting Ground, searchable in multiple ways.
Yeah, and for you guys who don't know what Harpies are, we'll probably be dropping the deck profile for the Harpies around the same days that we drop this podcast.
And for those of you that do know what harpies are, and you understand kind of like the argument we're having versus, Lost World versus this versus that.
Well, if they're listening
leave a
to
comment down below. We can have a conversation about it in the comments.
Yeah.
So
we might bring it up on the next episode if it's a big enough.
Let's try to move forward here. So you're going into Ancient Gears, and I don't know dick about Ancient Gears. Could you explain it to me in a nutshell?
Well, Ancient Gears is the deck that everybody thinks is gonna be shit.
It is.
You look at the prices as they are right now. Like the Hunting Hound is like 33 cents per copy, and that's one of the main parts of the deck. Nobody gave a shit about it when it was released. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, dinosaurs!" But Ancient Gears are a very old deck at this point. Yeah. In fact, they're in my top 5 decks. They're number 5, but they're in my top 5.
Why are they in your...
Because it was my first machine deck. It was the first deck that I saw like potential in with like Gear Town, normal summoning a monster at 2400 attack. It's insane. Like the first time I saw Ancient Gears, it was Ancient Gear Beast, and I ran it with my zombies. Just the Beast.
No, we're talking about combos, not... The combos in this Ancient Gear deck.
Yeah. So the combos that we got going in this Ancient Gear deck now... the number one combo that I can see right now is a 2-card combo. You have Gear Town and Ancient Gear Catapult.
Okay.
And now players are seeing it on the screen so they can read it. So you use Catapult to destroy Gear Town, and Gear Town's effect will activate in response to it when it's destroyed.
Right.
You get to bring out 2 monsters on the field.
Okay.
From that, you decide if you're going to bring out 2 beat sticks to start beating your opponent down, or if you're going to combo up.
Are you going to put a picture of a beat stick in the...
Maybe, yeah, I might. Those are the kind of jokes I've been making. You should watch.
Okay, keep going.
So... the number one combo I would think of to start doing the regular plays would be to bring out Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, I think it's called, or Ancient Gear Hound.
The level 4, the level 3 Hunting Hound?
Yeah, Hunting Hound.
Yeah,
so he is polymerization. The second one I would bring out with the effect of one of the other spells is Ancient Gear Wyvern.
Okay.
Now when Wyvern is summoned once per turn, you can add any Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand.
Wait. Summoned? Like normal, special?
Normal, special.
Flip?
I'm not entirely sure if it's flip, but why would you?
I mean, sometimes some crazy shit happens, man, where you need to put stuff face down.
Yeah. So when this card is normal or special summoned specifically,
Okay.
it's only once per turn. So the thing with it is,
Flips over
Wyvern
to
will
the-
give a spell or trap or monster that's an Ancient Gear to your hand.
Right.
If you add Ancient Gear Box, Box's effect will activate to give you an Ancient Gear with 500 attack or defense. So you can get Ancient Gear Gadget. So you already like your hand is already even at 5 again, and you have 2 monsters on the field. So altogether you plus 2'd. Also, you can start fusioning because Hunting Hound's effect is that he can be polymerization. You don't have to use Hunting Hound either. You can use the 2 monsters in your hand and bring out Howitzer, burn for 1,000, and keep playing from there. You could bring out 2 Howitzers in one turn.
Honestly, with Power Bond, you can put him at 2,000, and you can play Shrink.
If we're gonna be doing Power Bond, then at that point you can use the 2 that you have on the hand that you just grabbed, and the 2 that you have on the field, Hunting Hound and Wyvern.
And that's 4.
Yeah, to go for the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, I think it's called.
And that puts it at 7,000.
No, it puts it at 9,000, sir.
It's a 45.
Yeah.
That's gigantic.
And he pierces, and you can't activate spells and traps to his battling. You can't activate monster effects either.
I'm sitting here looking at my
If he swings, you don't respond. And he also attacks every monster your opponent controls.
I'm over here looking at my cards like, how do I beat this shit?
So, theoretically, just to put it out there, by destroying 2 cards that you're likely to have in your hand,
right,
you can summon a monster at 45, and let's say you limit or removal them to make them the 9,000.
Right.
And attack every monster your opponent controls. Listen. So let's say I'm running into your deck with a monster like a 3,000 and a monster at 25, stuff like that. I'm piercing and plowing through every single one of those at 9,000.
So, the difference between what my deck does and what your deck does is that my deck mostly goes off during main phase, and your deck can continue to extend into battle phase for combo.
For a little while, yeah.
And I mean, what I mean by continuing to extend into battle phase is your opponent can activate stuff until the end of the damage step, but you can.
Yeah, I can.
So you can still do the attack modifications and battle. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I can still shrink you, or let's say it was a light deck, I would be able to honest you. It's an earth deck, so I can't.
Right.
But just as an example. Another thing is, just by having the new boss monster, Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon,
Right.
when he attacks, he destroys a spell or trap on the field. It can be mine or it can be yours.
Is that his thing? Like, period?
That's his regular effect without getting the tributed effects, because he's got a few.
So he's got an engineer touch.
Yeah, he's got an engineer touch, but it's on both sides. He's better engineer.
Engineer only destroys opponent?
Only in opponents.
But this one's... Oh,
This one's either or. So if I have a boss monster in my graveyard, and I have the Ancient Gear Fortress on the field, and I have Gear Town on the field, then the Reactor Dragon can swing, kill the Gear Town, and special summon the second reactor, who can now swing and destroy my fortress to revive my boss monster in the grave. If I tribute summoned with, I think it was a gear monster. Let me check this shit out real quick. I got him right here. Yeah, if he inflicts piercing damage with an ancient gear, and if he is tributed with a gadget monster, he can attack twice.
Fuck you.
Right? So if you tribute ancient gear gadget, he gets both effects. So the combo at that point would be catapult on Gear Town to summon gadget and Wyvern. Wyvern adds reactor to your hand, and you're good to go.
I don't understand why this deck didn't get more hype.
I don't understand that either.
So, but this is kind of what we're doing as of right now, just to like, we're using these as rough draft explanations of combos. Like the soon enough we're gonna be getting Draconic Diagram, and combos are gonna go through the roof.
Yeah, which you'll be getting another profile from JD about his dinos when he actually runs true Dino Kings.
Yeah, we'll probably record that in about a week.
When it drops is what, May 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on the 19th. It'll be about 2 weeks by the time we get those cards.
2 weeks by the time we get, you guys will see it by October. So
Can you imagine? Nah, I'll fast forward the deck profiles at that point. Make sure they drop that week.
Oh, that's cool, dude. So later on today, you and I are going to be doing our locals, and our locals is kind of weak. Like we do have really good players where we are. We do have a few, but they're not necessarily where we are. Our schedules don't match up well enough to see the really good players.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
but the
not
guy,
that we're the best players in the world, but we're pretty confident.
I that's true. I'm good enough to feel confident saying I am a good player.
Yeah. Like, let's face it, we were fucking scrubs until this deck dropped, because I ran old decks that everybody has the answers to, and you were running gadgets which you weren't comfortable with.
Gadgets I was not comfortable with. I can take Billy break. So we. What's the differences here?
Resources.
Resources.
We're budget builders primarily. The only reason we bought these decks is just so we can show the people the deck profiles and talk them into it.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the channel, I don't think we'd be trying to get anywhere better than what we were.
No, we'd be comfortable, interested in the ancient gears, but not buying them or anything like that.
Interested in the dinos, not picking them up.
See, my theory with the whole thing why ancient gears aren't popular is that the remake for the Power Rangers movie came out. And I think everybody's just on a Power Ranger hype. Everybody wants their fucking Zords, so they grab dinosaurs, leaving the Megazord behind, which is the ancient gears.
I think that hypothesis is full of shit. So, there's our crappy explanation of combos. We're not really, like, it's harder to explain combos as an open discussion. You gotta be talking to someone about their deck. Not too long ago, I was talking to this guy, Robert, for the sake of the story. It's not his name, but we're gonna call him Robert.
We can call him whatever the fuck we want, I mean.
Fine, his name's whatever the fuck we
Yeah.
want.
Sancho here.
Sancho. So, I'm hanging out with Pancho, and he and I were working on his electromagnetic warriors. He's got alpha, beta, gamma. He doesn't have any ties to the Brethren, so that doesn't help. And he was playing, I want to say like a 50 card deck with the electromagnetic warriors and the magnetic warriors.
Which are the shitty version of the electromagnetic warriors.
And he was like, yeah, but you can, like, when you use the effect of alpha, gamma, beta electromagnetics, they banish themselves off the field during your opponent's turn to summon a level 4 magnet warrior. Electromagnetics also treated as. And so that's what he was doing. You know, he was using them to summon the guys from the deck to try and get the tribute summon off of the Valkyria. And I was like, no, fuck that.
Focus on one.
Yeah, pick one. And he was like, but I don't get it. Like, you can't banish them off the board to special summon a level 4 if you don't have them. And I was like, dude, Delta's been reprinted. Delta sends one of your electromagnetics from deck to grave, and the new Berserkion, that's Valkyrian but new, Berserkion summons itself by banishing them from field hand grave.
I like that they try to keep going with those names, like a Berserker and a Valkyrie.
Right?
It's...
And they even have a fusion monster of Berserkion and Valkyrion. And I don't remember what its name is or what it does because he never fucking summoned it on me.
Yeah.
But he's got 6 field spells in this deck. Yeah. One of them's Magnet Zone. If you control a rock monster, it lets you special summon one from grave.
That's the ideal one right off the bat.
Instant combo.
What's the other one?
And then he's got another one that gives him poly from deck to hand.
He doesn't need that.
And then he's got another one, I don't remember what do crap.
Yeah.
So,
You could run that as a 40 card deck, and you could use the electromagnetic warriors and just have the guy in the deck, the Valkyrie,
but
just for the fusion.
But this is experience talking with us, where we have linear sight of how this could work. You know, Alpha gives you Berserkion or Valkyrion from deck to hand, one or the other.
Yeah.
Beta special summons either Alpha or Gamma from hand. No, Beta adds one of the other ones from deck to hand.
And yet again, we've named like 30 to 40 cards I'm going to have to be putting up in the freaking podcast. Oh, you should have seen episode 1, dude. There were so many. I gave up on the last 10 minutes. It's just, fuck it. They know what Dark Hole is.
Okay, so long story short, it's just boom, 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 boom. You know, that's how it goes.
How it could be.
All their effects really quick. And he was like, I don't even like this one, Gamma, because it special summons one from hand. And I was like, why not? Like,
why wouldn't you?
Why not?
With the field spell, you got one from grave and one from hand with this guy.
Berserkion, they're all level 3, and you overlay them for fucking Levier, and
Yeah.
You could combo all day here. And he's like,
But that's what we get for being in a region that doesn't
but
really like Yu-Gi-Oh.
but he didn't know what Levier was.
Yeah.
This is the most important part of
And why we're doing the podcast.
The most important part of a combo is researching the pieces of your combos.
Every possibility that you can make.
If you are running a lot of level 3 monsters, look into rank 3 XYZs. If you're running rock type monsters, look into rock type support.
Look into level 3 fusions that you can bring out with instant fusion.
Yeah, things you could do that could really spam your levels on the board. If you're using a whole bunch of earth monsters, look into earth monsters support. If you like gadgets, the old gadgets, level 4 machine earth. How many times do you think I looked up level 4 support, earth support, machine support, or things that work for monsters under 1500 attack?
Yeah, a lot.
And then I got gold and silver and tin goldfish, and yeah, cool. My special summons of level 4s were faster. Goblinberg, Kage Tokage.
Alright, anyways, you're going off into the combos again, man.
Yeah.
Stop.
But that's
We're already on 30 minutes. We said this was going to be a 25, and because we started talking about a deck we weren't going to talk about, you pushed 6 minutes into this.
I'm sorry. So, my point is the more you know of the cards, in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, the more you know about the cards, the more you can do. The better your combos can be. The further you can go, the better your plus ones.
And the more you communicate with us, the more we can help you out. On Facebook, Twitter, and here on YouTube at the Yu-Gi-Oh Tutors.
Leave a comment, guys. It's been nice talking to you. Sorry we let this one run a little bit long because I'm long-winded.
Because you just keep talking and talking and
I
talking.
don't know how to shut the fuck up.
But that's the main purpose of the podcast as well. If we end up running a little bit longer, so be it. But a lot of these new players don't know the old cards. And they should, like Levier.
Like Levier. And that
This was Bandit Crowley.
This is JD.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.